Okay, so this is also Unit 8, Day 1 notes, and I gave you this handout, and there's not a lot to copy down, but I do want you to go through this with the video so that you can be reminded of how this works. A quadrilateral is any figure with 4 sides. So a quadrilateral can be like this. It can be anything with 4 sides. And then these are all special quadrilaterals. So a quadrilateral, if it has 2 pairs of parallel lines, these are parallelograms, all the ones in the parallelograms. Or we can have just 1 set of parallel sides, or it can have no parallel sides. So we're going to start over here. If it just has 1 set of parallel sides like this one, these make trapezoids. It can be just a plain trapezoid, and then we also have special trapezoids. Just like we had isosceles triangles, we can have isosceles trapezoids where 2 sides are also congruent. So these are special trapezoids. So our quadrilaterals, if just 1 set is parallel, then these sides are parallel and these are trapezoids here. Notice these are completely separate from parallelograms. A trapezoid can never be a parallelogram. These are completely separate on 2 different parts of this figure. If I have 2 sets of parallel sides, so this is parallel to this, and this is parallel to this, then these are all parallelograms. So on this first one, it's just where these are parallel and these are parallel. Any kind of shape like that. Then these are all special ones. These are also parallel and parallel, but in a rectangle, these corners are also 90 degrees. This is a rhombus, which you may have called a diamond when we were younger, but now we call it a rhombus. These sides are still parallel, just like in the parallelogram, but now all 4 of these sides are equal. If we combine the characteristics that all 4 sides are equal and all 4 sides are 90 degrees, we get a square. Notice these are all kinds of parallelograms still. And finally we have over here, if there's no parallel sides, none of these sides are parallel, that's a kite if these 2 sides are equal to each other and these 2 sides are equal to each other. None of the sides are parallel, but these are equal and these are equal. That's a special kind, and that's called a kite. So we basically have 3 sections of special ones. We have the trapezoids with ones that are parallel. We have all our special parallelograms where these are parallel and those are parallel, or we have the kind where nothing is parallel, but these sides are equal and those sides are equal. This little flow chart is one way to organize and figure out what shape we're talking about. The other way to do it is to look at a Venn diagram. And I want everyone to look through and consider both of these because I found that most people, you either like this way better or you like this way better. So I want you to think about both of them. Again, we're saying quadrilaterals. So this is all quadrilaterals. And we can have just general shapes like this weird one right here where no sides are parallel. We can also have trapezoids where 1 set of parallel lines are parallel, just like we had right here. This set is like my trapezoid right here. It's a set where just 1 set is parallel. And notice that this does not overlap with this. This is a totally different set than this one right here. Then, in this set right here, these are all parallelograms. And I want to go ahead and draw in one in this section. It's where 2 sides are parallel here, and 2 sides are parallel here. That's a parallelogram. Notice again, this section does not overlap with that section at all. Trapezoids can never be parallelograms. Now, inside the parallelograms, we have 3 special kinds. We have rhombuses, where all 4 sides are equal. We have rectangles, where all 4 angles are equal, and they're 90 degrees. And then, rhombuses and rectangles, sometimes they overlap in these special ones where all 4 sides are equal and the angles are equal, and that's where the squares are. Now I'm going to add an extra thing up here. No sides parallel. This could also be in here. We have an extra thing that are kites. And that's where these two sides are congruent, and these two sides are congruent. So again, notice on this one I kind of like it because you can clearly see that the trapezoids, they don't touch the kites, and the kites don't touch the parallelograms. These are three separate groups of different names we can have. We can also have out here quadrilaterals that just look like this, that they don't fit in any of the groups. Now, most of what we're going to talk about in detail in this unit is special things about parallelograms. So these are some special properties about parallelograms, and we're going to fill these in as we go. And they've already given you the pictures, so we're just going to go through this and fill in the blanks. If it's a parallelogram, then all these things are true. And you need to hang on to this page and bring this to class with you each day. Opposite sides, what do these little arrows mean? Well, these little arrows tell me that these are parallel and those are parallel. So opposite sides are parallel. What does this mean? Well, it means that this is congruent to this and this is congruent to that. So opposite sides are congruent. Opposite angles, well, what does it mean about this angle and this angle? Opposite angles are congruent. So if this is 60, this is also 60. Consecutive angles. Consecutive means right next to each other. So the two that are right next to each other add up to 180. So those are supplementary. And the diagonals, what does it mean if I put marks like this? It means this side here is equal to this side here. So those bisect each other. So again, this side right here is equal to this side right here, and then this part is equal to that part. So those are all special properties of parallelograms. You're going to need to know this information and look back at these notes as you do your quizzy today. Okay, if a quadrilateral is also a rectangle, so this part is all about rectangles here. It has all the properties of a parallelogram, and it has this extra stuff. It has 4 90-degree angles. It has all the properties of a parallelogram up here. So that's all these properties are true. And its diagonals, look at those. What do you notice about those? Those are congruent to each other. It has congruent, here's our symbol for congruent diagonals. AC equals BD. They're equal to each other. Okay, now we're going to talk about rhombuses. So this part is all about rhombuses. It has 4 sides that are equal to each other. It has all the properties of the parallelogram at the top. It has all these properties. Its diagonals are perpendicular. Were they perpendicular here? No, those aren't 90 degrees, but here in the rhombus, these two are perpendicular. And the diagonals bisect opposite angles. Here, this part is equal to this part. This part is equal to this part. So this angle is the same as that. This is like where, because these are all congruent, I could take and fold this and they would exactly match up. And then finally, on the square has all the properties basically on this page. It has all the properties of a rectangle, and it has all the properties of a rhombus, and both of those have all the properties of parallelograms. So basically every rule you see on this page is all true for squares. It actually makes squares the easiest ones that we can possibly do. So use these notes to help you on the quizzy today, and be sure to bring these notes with you each day to class in this unit, because this has a lot of the information we're going to keep looking back at during this unit.